Hey friends, today I thought I'd bring you along while I created a little mini Halloween notebook using my new Mini Cinch tool. So I've been playing around with this morning, kind of getting the feel for it, made like a little prototype one to see, what I needed to tweak better in the next one, those kinds of things. And so I put one together here using the Rosie Studios Midnight Moonlight collection and these black coils. As you can see, my coils are a little bit more smushed than they should be, but I'm still learning on this. So I decorated it really flat on the front so that we could toss it in your purse or a backpack and you didn't have to worry about anything falling off. I also added a couple of tabs. I used my We Are Memory Keepers tab punch here that I got for my birthday for this, and then I just used some of my heavyweight printer paper in the middle, so you have 3 sections in the back. So we're going to make one using the Toil Trouble Collection from Rosie Studios today. So you're going to need your cinch tool or mini cinch tool. If you want to do the tabs, you're going to need some sort of tab punch. You're going to need your coils. I've already cut my coils down. You are going to need wire nippers if you're cutting your coils to size. I also have some different tools here for bending back my wires. I've got a pair of scissors, bone folder, my AdTech glue, my Barely Arts glue, my Dollar Tree double-sided tape, and then I've got a bunch of sheets, about 25 sheets that I've already punched in the center here, ready to go in the middle of my book. I've got my papers measure 4x4, and I've got 3 of the different pattern papers that measure 4x4 for my dividers. I've got 2 pieces of lightweight, like this, like cardboard, basically, like cereal boxes that I have, and those are cut to 4 1/8 by 4 1/8. I have 2 pieces that are cut 4x4, and 2 pieces for the outer part of my notebook that are cut 5x5. So let's set this aside and let's do our cover first. Oh, and I also have my tabs already punched out and a couple pieces of ephemera too to decorate the front. So I'm just going to use my Barely Arts glue for this to put together our cover. And I chose this really fun purple plaid pattern. And then I'm going to roughly center my piece of cardboard on here. And then you want to make sure that you work that really well into the glue and the paper. And then let's do the other one. And then what I like to do is just go in with my bone folder and kind of crease the paper around the chipboard. That helps me get it started, and I find that if I do this, the paper is less likely to like split or tear, especially if you're using a heavier weight paper. And then I'm going to go ahead and fold. I think that helps keep your paper from cracking as much. And then once you've done that, you're just going to go in and you're going to miter your corners here. And you want to leave about 1/8 of an inch. So like basically about the width of your scissors. And then you move over and cut. If you leave a little extra, not a big deal. It's better to leave a little extra than not enough, because then you'll have some raw chipboard showing. And I'm never really perfect about doing that. I just like leaving a little extra, that way I don't see the raw chipboard. And then I'm going to use my double-sided tape for this. And I'm going to add that down to the 4 sides. And then I'm going to go back in with some of my Bearly Arts glue as well. Repeat that with your other piece. Went ahead and added my tape on all 4 sides. Went ahead and peeled back the backing as well. Then I'm going to go back in with my Bearly Arts because we didn't get everything right up in those corners. So I'm just going to go back in and add a little glue in the corners. And then I like to add a little bit of glue right along the edge of our chipboard. Just to make sure everything lays down nicely. And then you can start folding over. Your edges. So I fold everything over and then I go back in with my bone folder and just make sure I'm working everything nicely into that chipboard. And then repeat the process with your other one. Once you have that done, it's time to lay down our inner piece. So here is if you had a pattern on the outside that was going in a certain direction, you would want to make sure that your inside piece matched. You wouldn't want to put it upside down. So just be mindful if you're using a pattern on the outside and a directional pattern on the inside that they're facing the right way. And again, I'm just going to use my Bearly Arch for this. And then I'm going to do my very best to center this. You want to make sure you have all of the exposed chipboard covered with this piece. And then I just go back in with my bone folder, make sure everything's working. Work down into the paper and that chipboard. And we have one cover finished. I've got a mess of glue on my desk here. And let's do the other one. Now we have our front and back covers done. We need to work on punching our dividers and punching our front and back. So let's bring in our Mini Cinch. And for these dividers that measure 4 by 4, I just punch these together. And then I'm not using the guide here. I'm not using this guide. I'm just going to go in to the 4-inch line and line my paper up there, making sure my paper is going in the correct direction, making sure that all my paper are lined up nice at the top here. And I'm going to line it up with 4 and go ahead and punch it, and we have our holes. And then we're going to repeat the process with your cover. So you want to make sure when you're looking at your cover, you don't punch the top because our holes are on the side. Now, if you wanted it to be at the top, then you could put it at the top. But I want mine to open left to right. So our holes are going to go here. And you could choose whichever one you want to be the cover. This one's just going to be my cover, it doesn't matter. So because my direction goes this way, I'm going to put my chipboard piece in this way. So because this is 4 1/8 by 4 1/8, I want to line it up with that 4 1/8 line right here to do my punches. So let's make sure I'm got my paper in the right direction. And then, because you're going through chipboard, you have to give this a little bit more of a stronger push. And I would let this dry before you punch. And then for your back cover, you want to make sure you're not punching like this. You want to make sure that you're punching with your inside piece facing up this time. Put it in at 4 1/8 for this size. Make sure you have it pushed all the way snug to the back where it won't go anymore. And punch. So now we are ready to assemble our book. I'm going to put my dividers in every 6 pages. I discovered I made a boo-boo with my Raven paper and I put it in the wrong way. So again, if you're using directional paper, just make sure you're punching it the proper way. Not really a big deal. Alright, so I have my stack of papers and I'm going to go ahead and grab my coil. And I'm going to put my papers in first. And then I'm going to grab my back and front covers. So I'm going to put my front cover in first. And then I'm going to put my back cover in, and I want the 2 patterns facing each other. So I don't want to put it in like this, because then this would be upside down and on the wrong side. So you want to make sure you put the 2 matching patterns together so your back will be facing, the inside will be facing up. I hope that makes sense. And now we're ready to take all of this over to the back of your cinch here at the cinching tool part. And then you want to line this up in here. With your things flat against there. So I'm just working my coils around, getting them in flat. I want to make sure everything's lined up nicely. And then you are going to squeeze and your book is together. This tool is so much fun. You can make so many awesome items with this. I could see this being an awesome tool to create notebooks for your kids' teachers. And then once we fold this back, we have our book together. So I do have some extra pieces here from where I cut this down to size. So I'm just going to use some tools here, some of these wire tools, and flatten that out, because I don't want it to poke anybody. And you're going to repeat that on this other side. And then I'm going to go in with the other and kind of curl this a little bit down, just a little bit. So I don't want it sticking straight up. See how that one's kind of curved down? I want this one to curve a little bit down as well. There we go. And then I made my binding kind of hidden in the inside of the book, so the outside looks very nice and clean, and those extra pieces are hidden in the inside of our book. So now our book is all together. We just need to go back in and add our tabs. You can do that before, after, however you would like. Again, I had an issue with that last tab and I had to like cut it down. So I think that I would put your tabs on before you make the book. And because you're making a smaller book, you might want to cut your tabs down a little bit smaller so they line up a little bit better, but that's okay. I'm not worried. I'm not trying to make it perfect or have perfection. And I am going to trim this top piece off as well. There we go. Now, after you get your tabs on, you are ready to decorate. I'm going to do something very simple for decorating and just add a sentiment and a little ephemera piece. I want this to be really simple. I don't want to have it too layered. That way, whoever receives it can just pop this in their purse or book bag. I think I'm just going to use "'Tis the Season to be Spooky" and this Deadly Nightshade label. And there we go. We have our notebook all put together. So cute. These are going to be so fun to make for Christmas presents. I'll probably make larger ones for Christmas presents, or like make a calendar that stands up on your desk for like the new year and give that away at Christmas. So fun. So thanks guys for stopping by and checking out this video and how I used my new cinch tool. And again, this is using the Rosie Studios Midnight Moonlight collection and Toil Trouble collection. So all that information will be linked in the description box below, and all of the items, including the cinch tool, will be linked in the description boxes below as well. Alright guys, have a wonderful day. Bye!